Alright, everybody, this is your host Paul Gaither. This is Madden NFL 16. I am in franchise mode. It is wild card playoffs. I simulated all of the games. I went in to game prep, focused on giving experience points week after week after week to my young rookies, 1-2 year pro, whatever players, like the young players that I want to focus on for game prep. Whether or not that's like the right strategy or not is neither here nor there. Maybe you've got better development strategies than I do. I just went in and decided to try that. And I want to show you development of players. But you can see here, I use up the 60 hours. I picked 6 players to develop. We went 9-7, which this team didn't go nearly that well in real life. And I went in and I progressed my players. And I just kind of want to show you. I went through and also did all the scouting. I want to show you the development history, which is incomplete, mind you. For whatever reason, it does not save all the development history. You can see, 40-something points, 50-something points. It's nothing. It's really nothing. That's terrible. I'm sorry. There's a whole spiel about Madden 15 was too powerful and everyone becomes a 90 overall or whatever. I don't know. Here, it's a mess. So, simulation all the way. Instead of end-of-season regression from age or whatever, this game definitely has in-season regression. Now, I don't know if it's because I'm not working on the confidence rating. Is it poor performance? You only get 60 hours per player. I don't know what drives the regression, but it's every week, almost every week, Colin Kaepernick is dropping awareness, just falling off the face of the earth. Here, there's nothing about halfbacks, nothing about wide receivers. I can't even click halfback. You see that? Wide receiver says no data available. Halfbacks aren't even on the list for whatever reason. Tight end, I just put Vernon Davis what he got at the end of the year. They get some end of the year bonus and got a pile of experience they didn't have previously. Check out Joe Staley. I was trying to figure this out. Joe Staley was in the 70s of pass blocking. 70s! Dude starts almost 90 or 88 or 89, whatever. We can look at it. -7 in 1 week. -7. Maybe that's the end of the year, regression or something. But -2, -1, he was getting just cut apart almost week after week. I don't know if it's you gave up a sack so you lose your skill or something. At the end of the year with Thomas, I just put the point that he could earn because that's all the experience that he earned for the whole year. Good job, Thomas. You got enough experience points to go 1 point of pass block. So that's the solution so that everyone doesn't become a 90 overall is you get 1 point of skill. You go from a 76 to a 77 in an entire year. Yeah, I'm edgy. And that's how you should have your progression and regression in the game. So Kilgore again got his 1 point, right? And Martin had earned a point here and there and went from a low rating to still a low rating. Because seriously, gaps of 10 points are what make a difference. Right guard, nothing. Right tackle, this is the other thing. I've been trying to work on Trent Brown here. Because in real life, he became one of the best right tackles. Von Miller himself, multiple years in a row, says he was the best right tackle he'd ever gone up against. They would have joint trainings and they would play preseason games. And Miller was constantly complimenting him. And for off-season, off-the-field purposes, him, Kyle Shanahan, whatever, eventually he was moved to New England, won a Super Bowl, being the left tackle for Tom Brady, protecting Tommy. Big contract to the Raiders, a good, talented player. And it's I put him as a starter. I put him as experience points. I gave him a chance to really play. And it was just I'm fighting against regression. Week after week after week, it's -3, -2, -1, whatever. He's dipping into the 60s in pass blocking. And the experience points that I earned throughout the season is 1, -3, -2, 1. You're just fighting a downhill battle. You can't even have him as a rookie come in and just gain some experience. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand what's driving like the massive pass block dip for both Joe Staley and Brown. I don't know what interior code is doing that, whatever. And again, this is not a complete history. For some reason, just the previous weeks are not here. Eric Armstead, like every 4 weeks or so, whatever it was, I've been just like increasing his power moves because it was like 80 or 81 and now it's like 88. I don't even think it's 89 right now as a rookie. So that's interesting. He's a starter. He has a good overall. He has like all this as like a first round pick. And I just every single week gave him do the XP thing. And so he starts as like a 91 block shedding, like, because that's what he's known for, is being a great run defender, constantly known as being a great run defender. And I'm just constantly trying to give him power moves, because finesse moves is like in the 60s. His power moves are like in the 80s, so like 80, 81, whatever as a rookie. So I'm just trying to get him up to like the 90 power moves without improving any other skill. Not play recognition, not tackle, nothing. Just putting points into power moves, right? Whether that's good or bad, you can have your own opinion there. Carradine just constantly, I don't know if he was like losing anything. It was just like he has decent power moves and block shedding. I think one is like 91 and the other is like 87, 88, whatever. So it's like, I think I've had to use like all of his points to maybe get 1 or 2 points this whole season. Right? That's the thing. There's this like people complaining like, oh, all the players became a 90 plus overall in Madden 15 and whatever, and it's like it's more realistic this way. It's like, bro, rookies, first year players, second year players, like the young players that develop. And these are the guys that I'm targeting week in and week out for the player like experience points. Like, they're not becoming 90s, bro. They're not even like, they're going up like a point. 1 point in one skill, not even their overall. 1 point in like one skill for the year. Maybe 2 points. Like, Eric Armstead, like, he was able to go up like 5 or 6 points. That's cool. He's literally the exception on my entire team. Ian Williams, like, I didn't even have enough points for other players to do anything. Ian Williams got 1 point. I think he went from like an 87 to an 88 or whatever. Like, Madden's threshold of animations or whatever is like 90. So it's like, he's just kind of, that was useless. That was a completely useless progression. Play recognition, 1 point. That's all I got for Brooks. That was the entire year progression. 1 point of one skill. Same thing with Bowman. Same thing with Alden Smith. Okay, I put those 4 points in the block shedding because that was tanking, which doesn't show here. Like, you see this? It's like, I don't understand. Yeah, I put some like play recognition in some guys. Like 3 points here, 2 points there, 1 point, -7 for Joe Staley's pass blocking. Like, and that's like permanent stuff, right? Like, that's not something temporary. Like, their confidence is temporarily like dropping their skill. Okay, it's like I just see regression. I just see a generally like worse team. You can argue, yeah, this is the Jim Tomsula year, and no. It's like, bro, like, what is this? What is this team? Right? Like, we look at it, and it's like, awareness. I mean, who really cares if your user controlling it? But I'm simulating it, and it's just like an awareness tank. Are there no running backs because they're all hurt, or what? Yeah, Hunter's hurt. Because Carlos Hyde was hurt earlier, so I only literally have one healthy running back. So I don't even know playing the game, like, who would be my backups, like wide receivers or something. It's like, I'm not even focused on other guys. Right? I got, like, aging out Vernon Davis. I've got a nobody tight end. Like, the points it takes to do, like, a route running or a run blocking or whatever, like 1,300, 1,500 points or whatever. It's like, what are you going to do? Get, like, a point? What are you going to do here? I don't understand how Joe Staley is rated like a 92 overall right now, but he has like 77 pass block. He drops so much. He drops so much. It was ridiculous. I couldn't do anything about it. Like, it's not a temporary drop off or whatever. It's just is what it is. Like, I'm super focusing 1 year experience, right? This player here, regardless of what he became in real life. It's like I worked his way up from like the 70s of pass block to like what 77 to 78 to 79 to 80. Right? Like that's where he's at. That's what he's worked up to all year long. And yeah, here Trent Brown. Like the guy was like in the 70s or whatever of pass block. And it was just like he's just crashing and crashing and crashing. And it's not temporary. It's like it's literally the idea of like the lost cause. Right? I think it was like a 61 overall or something. I don't know, like it's so ridiculous. He's like he's not gonna get it back. I have to spend all my experience points to overcome like him falling. Eric Armstead was like a 75 overall in my scheme, and now he's a 78 overall. Like, oh no, he's gonna be a 90 next year or whatever. It's like, no. What is this? Tank Carradine, yeah, whatever. Like, what am I even doing with this squad, bro? Like, I understand the flip side of, like, not wanting to have superstar teams. Like, I get it, but this is a joke. This is absolutely a joke. Tart and Ward would be starting safeties for the Niners in a few years. And it's like, I focused on them, right? Like, I put effort on, like, my center, my right tackle. That was, like, 2 of my 6. These are my secondary players. Both my safeties as backups. That makes 4 of my 6. And then I think I was having, like, Carlos Hyde as number 5. And Eric Armstead. It was 2 linemen, 2 defensive linemen, 4. Yeah, I was doing a lot of Jimmy Ward, but not Tart. And then I was working on Carlos Hyde. And Carlos Hyde got injured for like 5 or 7 weeks or something. So I started working on Jakarski Tart for the other half of the year-ish. So yeah, it was like 1 secondary, 2 defensive linemen, both my defensive ends. Right? Young Tank Carradine, young Eric Armstead. My 2 young offensive linemen, my center, Martin, my right tackle, Trent Brown. Those are the things that I was trying to improve, right? Like, I have my aging veterans, 27-year-old, Navarro Bowman. I've got, 31-year-old Ahmad Brooks. I've got already established player, 25-year-old Alden Smith, like, whose points are just, you can't really mess with. And Limonier and Aaron Lynch, it's like they've got good skills, but I'm not gonna focus on them. I was gonna try other players, right? But there's a lot of like young talent that has like potential or whatever. Not all of them lived up to that potential, and you could argue like that with real life, but that's not the point. It's like, okay, I didn't focus on them, so maybe they don't develop as much, but it's just like, what do we want from this game? Where's like there is got to be some level of like the fantasy element, right? I also understand, like I fully understand that there is like superstar and star development ratings and things like that. Like I get that. But that's still part of like the bigger package of like who determines, and we know the answer is Josh Lumen. I know the answer. I'm being rhetorical here. It's like who determines if they're a superstar, yo? Like Eric Armstead ended up being like a really good player, but his like development rating is like 3 out of the 5. So it's like, and he's a known like run defender. And in 2019 with Nick Bosa and all of them, he actually is the one that led the league in sacks, not Nick Bosa. He was playing that 3 technique position. He had, DeForest Buckner eating double teams. He had, D Ford and Nick Bosa acquiring attention, and he was like winning one-on-ones, and he had like 19 or 19 and a half sacks or whatever. Like, he's a product of the entire team around him, and it's like, I don't know what his rating is in the game, but come on, bro, like 78 overall. I also don't want to get caught up in the overall rating. Like, it's all kind of like up in the air, but it's just, it costs so many experience points to go up like a single point or 3 points or 4 points for the entire year for like a skill. Versus like other Madden games in the past, like you play it out, They have their stats, they have their whatever, maybe they have their potential rating, they have whatever. And it's like you get to the end of the year and it's like, oh, they went up like 3 points here and 4 points there and 2 points here. Like, it was kind of spread out. But here it's like I'm literally dumping all my points to go up like 3 points in like one skill. So they like don't progress, especially these young players. Right? Like the guys that are supposed to be the ones that learn and adapt to the league and whatever. So it's like, I don't know why the pass blocking is being dumped, but it literally is going to cost me thousands and thousands of points for Joe Staley. So he's just like, is it like in-season regression? I don't get it. We're going to simulate the game. I'm going to actually, can I undo simulate the game? Can I play it for fun? No, I made my choice, so screw me. So let's go advance the week. Advance the week. And yeah, no, like, it's in-season regression is what it seems like. And that's what you live with. It really feels like what many people way back in the day were fearing. And fearing because you can see it in front of your eyes. It's like, the rookies don't come in very good. You can't progress very well. And once the superstars are gone, you're going to have like a league of like 70 and 80 overall players or whatever. It's like, I don't know what they want from this. Staff re-signing, I don't care. Manually progress players, we've already done stuff. Did we get more points this time around? I actually got some more chunk plays, I guess. Or chunk plays, some chunk points, I guess. Kinda. So, like, look at this. Jaquoski Tart. Pop-Tart, known for his hit, power, and tackle. So, we can put, like, a few points, but, like, until you get to the 90s or whatever, like, who cares? So, it's like, okay, let's do some play recognition. So, we got some play recognition points. That's good. Like, we got better. We got more experience at recognizing plays. That's what Tart did. Antoine Bethea. Like, 3,000 points. Maybe that, because this is like where we get a second bonus at the end of the year. Zone coverage, like, yeah, all that experience and points. 85 up to 86 zone coverage. Like, it doesn't matter. He's not going to be like 90 or whatever. It doesn't matter. So, play recognition, like, you get like one thing. That's what you get. And it doesn't matter which one you get. Right? So it's like, okay, whatever. That's my points, baby. That's my points for the year for Bethea. I don't even want to know what I want to do with Wheeler. Play recognition is really solid. Tackle, strength, block shedding. Linebackers should just be able to flow to the ball without having to worry about too much block shedding. Shouldn't be a pass rusher as a middle linebacker. Tackling, consistency. He just seems like a guy that maybe we want to put consistency or something. I don't know. Like 2,000 points? That's the other thing. Like, what does consistency really matter? I mean, like, really, it says to gain more XP or confidence in game prep or whatever. It's going to cost me so many points to do what? Because I have guys with, like, high or low consistency. The range of gaining XP is so weird and so low. And it costs so many points just to get points back, maybe. It's like, why would I even waste time with that? I don't know. Maybe some block shedding just to get off of a fullback or something. Let's look by position. Colin Kaepernick. Remember all that awareness that we were losing, right? And see, look, for our accuracy, we got 877 points to work with. So, like, we get to raise, like, 1 point maybe. Right? Like, oh, it turns out you got 1 of your awareness back that you lost the whole year. Cool. That's your progression. Jimmy Ward. It's like, give me play recognition. So yeah, he's getting close to the 80s in play recognition, like game experience. Okay, so let's go wide receivers. I don't care, whatever. Tight ends, like whatever. Left tackle. Yeah. Look at this. 1,200 points to get it back. Like, no, it's lost and it's gone. It's lost and it's gone. Like, do I have to play the game? Because this is what happens. Like, let's say I'm controlling the Browns or something. It's like, oh, there's Joe Staley. He just sucks at football now because Colin Kaepernick held onto the ball and, yeah, 20 sacks allowed. It's like, it's its own spiral. Like, well, of course he dropped it because he allowed 20 sacks. It's like, Colin Kaepernick holds onto the ball for too long, so he gets bad in his rating, and it's its own self-propelling cycle. Like, so because he allowed like 2 sacks, his rating goes down like 7 points or whatever. So that means he's going to allow more sacks, so it's going to spiral out of control. Like, that was the problem. It's its own self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like, well, he allowed 20 sacks. What do you want, Paul? It's like, well, what was that? What was that? That just has to be it, right? And is that like the sim stat problem? I mean, I'm a big time Joe Staley fan, so it already like makes me angry. But just like looking at it in general, it's just like this with around 21 sacks allowed. Is that like sim stat problems? Is that really what's going on here? Is they just can't pass block, so that's why I'm getting punished? That has to be it. I mean, it makes sense, but it's just like, I guess you have to like play the games out to just not be completely screwed over, right? Simming the game in is just like, this is what you get. Deal with it. So yeah, you can see here block shedding 91. It's like, okay, I can increase it, but we're in the 90s already, so we're at 88. Let's go up to 89. So I think you went from 81 to 89 in 1 year. And I was predicting, I think in another video, maybe I canceled the video, I don't remember. It's like, okay, at the end of the rookie year, like, he'll be like that. So he's been like my best progression of like everyone. And that's because he's going to be, hopefully, soon up to a good ability. And Docket and Tank. So Tank's situation is he has the 92 power moves. And I'm trying to get him the block shedding, but his stuff costs more than Eric Armstead's stuff. I mean, I think there's like a 2-year difference, so maybe it's like he's not getting as much progress, and he probably doesn't have as high as a development rating. So I think that's some of it. And then, yeah, we were not focusing on Lynch or Corey Lehman-Yeh, so we don't really have much to go off of there. Alden Smith. Yeah, his block shedding is sub 90, and it's going to take more just to get it to that 90 range. We've done Tart, and Ward doesn't have the points. And who really cares at a certain point? The press is really high. I mean, did you see how many points it takes just to get to 90-something press? Like, I don't mind that's how many points, but it takes a lot. See how many points it takes to do everything. So it's like, okay. Okay, this is the progression of the game. Play rec gets to 90, and then tackle. Why is tackle like, oh, because I need to be able to apply it. Okay, yeah. Good. Phil Dawson, I don't care. Reggie Bush, I don't care. I believe all of that's going to carry over to the next year. So let's go advance to the next week. We clearly lost to Seattle on the road in the playoffs as a loser team. Advance the week to, there's nothing here. There's no scouting points. There's nothing. Yeah, we went from the wild card to the divisional. We lost, so we had nothing. We simmed to the conference championship. We're simming to the Super Bowl. We just went to the Pro Bowl, so there's nothing for us on our menu to do. And now we have access to scouting again. So I'll show you what's up with scouting for me right now. I think I'm like mostly happy with it. I think I've like not scouted as best as I could, but I think I scouted all right. I was looking here. I'm not going to go through every single position and every single thing, but for example, Madden 25, there's like a lot of receivers. Oh, there's a guy that was not scoutable before, so let's learn more about this guy. Vertical offense, red zone threat. He doesn't really fit us, but let's do this right now. Run block is an F, so whatever. We don't care anymore. Okay, so there are no C run blockers. At least in this draft class, there are no C run blockers. Where Madden 25 had like 4 or more C run blockers. So I've had conversations about like, hey, you know, if it's a C run blocker, they become some of the best run blockers in the league, which maybe is a little too powerful. But yeah, I still like to scout by who's, I guess, assuming now D. Like F run blocking is just a complete waste of time. So at least give me D run blocking, and then let me find guys that fit my style, possession receivers or whatever. Power run offense is what we've been assigned. Route runners, possession receivers, whatever. It's like, at least give me like a run block situation here. And then it's like, okay, from who can run block, it's like who can run routes, you know? And it's like, okay, no one's good at running routes that I want or whatever. It's like, okay, then who's good at anything, you know? It's like, okay, whatever. And I'm just kind of disappointed with a lot of the scouting in general. It's like, oh, I need to find a bunch of A guys. I'm just not finding anything. Like, this random class stuff as opposed to the handcrafted stuff by Josh Lumen. It's like, I'm not even finding anyone that I'm interested in. Does that make sense? Like, in real life, you're going to find gems. You're going to find players that you want to develop and that you won't have, like, skills for. And it's like, okay, here are my block shedders, I guess, and, like, maybe a guy worth drafting once in a while. And it's like, but I also already have Eric Armstead and Tink Carradine, so, like, do I even really care? So maybe I shouldn't scout them at all. And this is where maybe you want to scout, like, the 4th, 5th, 6th round draft picks as, like, backups and rotational guys. You always got to know your team and, like, spend your points on where you think you're really going to get a player. I get that. But it's just like, even when I'm scouting, I'm like, I don't like anyone. I'm not falling in love with any players. I'm not like, oh man, I wanted to trade up for this guy, or, you know, like, I'm going to make a move, or I can't wait to get this guy and develop him because he's whatever. It's like, I'm just bored with this. That's the biggest thing. Like, I don't even care about continuing the scouting right now. Like, as I make this video, it's like, whatever. I don't even care who won the Super Bowl. I feel a bunch of, like, I don't care. I'm not hyped for it. I think there's got to be something in between. I'm willing to bet that on the flip side, Madden 15, when I really work with it, there's probably, like, too many points and too easy to make, like, an elite team. Though it is a fantasy, I think this is, like, the reverse end, where it's just, like, I'm literally dumping all my time and resources before I turn this video on. Of, like, I'm going to do preparation here, I'm scouting here, this, there. Like, I'm investing these, like, a few hours of my time before turning this video on. And I'm just like, I don't care at all. Oh, Brady retires again, even though he didn't retire. Like, they're always retiring him in Madden. Like, every year they're retiring him. So yeah, re-sign players, whatever, delegate, I don't care. All these rejected, accepted. My controller's probably dying now. It's probably low battery, that's why it said connect. Yeah. Advanced week. Next week, stage 1. I think this is like the closest I'm going to give to you to a Madden 16 video. It's like they toned down experience and progression or whatever, and they have like in-game regression. I'm not against in-game regression, but it seems really extreme and like spiraling out of control, like we saw with Joe Staley and all of that. Is like, oh, you like gave up 2 sacks, so lose like 3 points of pass blocking. Oh, you're 3 points less of pass blocking, and you're most likely to give up sacks, so lose more pass blocking and just completely drop off the face of the map. For both of my left and right tackles, right? Like, instead of, like, just playing the year with whatever his rating is and, like, occasionally giving up a tackle, it's just like, nope, and you drop again, and you drop again, and you drop again, and now you're just dog water. And now you're giving up 20 plus, like, you give up, like, 40-something sacks between the two of you. Regardless of Colin Kaepernick or whatever, it's like, no, this is how it is. You're going to have this endless death spiral of just getting worse and worse and worse with our stats. So, I don't like it. I mean, because, as I've said before, I'm sorry to repeat, I don't want to talk in circles, it's like, if I played it as a user and I didn't eat a bunch of sacks, I got rid of the ball and all that, and my tackles didn't have a death cycle, okay. But what if my team was the Browns? What if I was controlling the Texans here or the Ravens? And that's what, like, happened to Joe Staley and all of them. Like, that's really how, like, the game sees the progression, regression. Like, what's happening with the other teams in the league? Like, what's going on with Trent Williams over at Washington? Who, like, Trent Williams is often seen as, like, one of the best tackles in the history of the game. And he's already, like, not rated that highly in this game, which is, like, a crime in and of itself. Like, let's go look at that. Let's go see. Let's go, right here. Let's go left tackle. 85 overall. 77 pass block. How much you want to bet that's exactly what happened here? How much you want to bet that's happening across the league with players that are like starters? How much you want to bet that this is what's happening in a 69, 80? Oh wow, he's hurt, so maybe because he's hurt, he didn't get like rocked. Ryan Clady is good. Even Joe Thomas is not like 90 something. I bet you he went down too. I'm willing to bet if I go to the default roster, he's like a 97 or something in pass blocking. I bet he got hit with it too. Right? Like, I wouldn't be afraid, or not afraid, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know how bad Eric Fisher was in general. We can look at Eric Fisher 65. We saw what some of these other guys were. Like, some of it maybe is like the quarterback actually gets the ball out. Joe Staley's a 76 and all that. I don't even want to save. I don't. From the last time I saved, I don't even care. You want to back out? Yeah. Let's back out. Let's go to manage rosters. Let's go to manage players. Let's go to left tackles. Did I already pass it? No. 90. 90 to 77. $92 to 85 or whatever, right? Joe Thomas. Yeah, Joe Thomas got hit. Like, not everyone got hit, but a lot of guys got hit. You see that? Wasn't he like 91 or something? Costanza, was he like 93? Maybe he was still 96. I don't remember. You can go back and find yourself. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I bet you that he got hurt, and that's why he didn't get just completely blasted. Ryan Clady starts hurt, and I think he was at 88, 89, so that's kind of interesting that he was actually one of the few that didn't get totally blasted. Right? That is so fascinating and so dumb. Yeah, didn't he fall to like 60 or whatever? Yeah, Fisher's like 80, so it's like he's going to give up sacks. So I think he death spiraled too. Was he like 65, 66, 61? I don't remember. Go back and rewind the video, but pretty sure it wasn't 80 or 70s. Pretty sure it was in the 60s, unless I'm like totally mistaken. Like, let me know if I'm just crazy. No, that's insane. Like, you want like a review of the game? That's your review. It's a death spiral. for teams that you're not controlling, it's just a player death spiral. Like, that should at least be like an end of the year thing, so they at least are working with the ratings that they have. Maybe with like a little progression or whatever, but it's like, I understand the experience points progression. I can understand the confidence thing, like maybe dropping their like temporary abilities or whatever, but the tackles are just death spiraling like uselessness. Like, avoid 16 and 17, I'm telling you. I think the best answer, if you're still watching, is like play 15, and if you think the players are progressing too much, just spend more of your points on confidence, right? I mean, like your game planning thing, spend it on confidence. Click the things that you want to improve as a user, and then click auto progress the rest, so they burn up the points that the computer wants to. Whatever. It's just like you can hone in and restrict your progressions. And see, that's the other thing when I say 15, like I haven't played it enough to know if it has the same problem. Does 15 have the same death spiral for offensive linemen? I don't know. But 16 and 17, get out of my face. This is bad, and this is why it's bad. Thank you for your time. I don't like having negativity on my channel, but I mean, like, bad game is bad game.